Hi everyone, Happy New Year. Hope you've enjoyed your break. I'm sorry I haven't put out covers lately. I've been on holiday and I did not record any covers. I apologize, I will get back to them. I thought I'd try and start a vlog on my channel too this year. New year, new me. I just want to have a space to talk about things that I've been thinking about, whether that's creative things, life things, or generally just inspiring stuff. My hope is that you're able to resonate with some of these things that I'm saying. Or hopefully it's just nice to hear someone on the internet talk about the things that you're interested in too. I'm also kind of just doing this for myself, so I have a record of what I'm saying and thinking about. Today I want to talk about New Year's resolutions. I am bad at keeping them. It's usually either my motivation fades or I run out of time, I start procrastinating. And I like to just unpack this a little bit in a video because I've thought about how to approach my goals a little bit better this year. And as I unpack these things, hopefully these things help you as well to hit your goals, whether it be in creativity or any other thing. So I think the first thing to realize about goals, whether it's learning a new creative skill or anything really, is that it's important to recognize that your goals might be unrealistic from the start. I'll tell you what I mean. So basically, they're called New Year's resolutions because everyone makes them in the new year, even though you can actually make a goal anytime you want. Now, usually during the new year, you're on break. So you're making up these goals when you're not working. When you're not working, you have more time. And so when you're making these goals, you're actually making them in an environment where you have more time. So therefore, you think you can do more than you actually have time for. So understanding that when you say you want to lose 10 kilos, by X month, you might be setting an unrealistic target from the get-go because you think you have more time to think about that goal for that year. So I think it's just important to realize goals are unrealistic sometimes, but I don't think that should hamper you from setting an unrealistic goal because it's still good to dream, but just realize that it is unrealistic. And perhaps during the year, things will change and perhaps that goal needs to change. Which leads me to the second thing that I've been thinking about, and that is that unrealistic goals are okay as long as you don't have unrealistic expectations to meet them. So for example, again, when I was on holiday, this holiday was a month long. It's actually probably one of the longest holidays I've been on. But I planned to visit certain things, like certain places, and do certain things and have certain experiences. And I had expectations about each of the things that I was planning. Some things I had really high expectations for, and some things I went in with no expectation. I found that the things that I went in with high expectations, I was disappointed because they didn't meet my high expectations. But the things that I had no expectations about, I actually ended up being really blown away by the experience or the thing or the place because I had no expectations. You get my point? Usually, when we get to the end of the year and then we realize that we haven't hit our goals and we get upset, the getting upset part, that only happens because you had an unrealistic expectation that you might hit the goal, I mean. Now, flip that around. If you get to the end of the year and you ask yourself, what are the things that I actually did achieve? What are the things that I actually did do well? And hopefully you can think of a few. But when you think about those things, you realize that you either hit a goal that was achievable or you managed to achieve a certain thing that potentially you just didn't have any expectations for. All this is a really long way to say how we feel about a goal really depends on our expectations of the goal. If we go into something with a positive attitude and with no expectations, you're more likely to feel happy about it at the end of the year. So yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure if I was clear. Hopefully I was. But then that also begs the question, what is the expectation based on? Which leads me to my next point about goals. It's really important to name exactly what your goal is. Another story. I'm full of stories this time. It's because I've been on holiday. I was sitting in a train in Japan and I had like 2 hours to kill. And I told myself, I'm going to start writing down some goals for the future. And when I first started, I realized a trend in the way that I was writing these goals down. I realized that a lot of my goals were kind of vague. Like I wrote something down along the lines of, I want to be better at guitar. And I think I wrote another one about, I want to, actually, what did I write down? What did I write down? Oh yeah, that's right. I had a weight goal. I said I wanted to lose weight. So these goals are really vague, right? It was like, get good at guitar. Well, what does that mean? Get how much gooder, how much better, you know? Like, is it quantified by how fast I can play? Is it quantified by how many songs I know? What is good? What is better at guitar? Lose how much weight? Like, is it 2 kilos? Is it 3 kilos? And so to have an expectation, whether that's a high or low expectation of a goal, it's hard to place any expectation on it if the goal itself is vague, right? I also find that we tend to be negative about ourselves. When the goal is vague, the expectations are also vague. And so, say for example, if you just say you wanted to lose weight and you ended up losing 1 kilo, and you get to the end of the year, say, oh, I lost 1 kilo, but I didn't lose enough weight. You see how that sullies the fact that you still lost a kilo of weight. So yeah, I think it's really important to know exactly what you want. I amended that weight goal to a certain number. I'm not going to say the number. And I also said I want to be able to run 10K. So that's the specific thing. And then I can have a lowered expectation on that goal to just say, hey, look, hitting X kg and getting to a point where I can run 10 kilometers, that's great, but I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't quite get there. I'm still going to celebrate it. And then for my guitar goal, I said that I would pick up some guitar lessons, whether online or offline. And then I would expand my repertoire of songs so I could play more songs. And I think I had a number to it, 52 for every week of the year. Yeah, 52 weeks. Yeah, in a year. Yeah. So naming exactly what your goal is super important. Now, the next thing is actually understanding why you had the goal in the first place. Because I think sometimes we get really precious about the goal. We forget why we set the goal. So let's take the guitar example. Why did I say I wanted to increase my repertoire? That's because I actually want to have fun on the guitar. I want to be able to express myself. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with getting good at an instrument. It's actually, I want to have fun doing something I love, right? Similarly for a weight goal, most people's weight goals have to do with feeling better about themselves and feeling healthier. It's not necessarily about the number, which further reinforces the point about the expectations. We have our expectations dashed because the goal isn't met. But potentially the journey that you've been on for the whole year actually brought you closer to feeling happier or healthier or that sort of thing. So knowing your why, I think Simon Sinek said something like that about knowing your why. That was more in a context of like career and stuff like that, I believe. But I think it also applies for personal goals. Which leads me to my last thing about goals. And that is that actually, when we really understand why we set goals, making positive changes and implementing better habits is actually probably more important than the goal. You want to feel healthy. You want to be more creative. You want to be able to express yourself. And those things can be wrapped up in goals like I want to learn how to play the guitar. I want to learn how to play an instrument. I want to learn how to sing, that sort of thing. Those things are all great and goals. But really, what you really want is you want to be more creative. And so that's more about every day, what are you going to do that's more creative? Every day, what are you going to do that's going to make you feel more fulfilled and happy? So for me, I've got a whole list of goals and resolutions that I have set. But really, the only action point I'm going to take for all these things is to try and organize my life a little bit better so that I'm doing things and I'm implementing habits in my daily life that get me closer to all of my goals. And hopefully when I get to the end of the year, I can see how far I've gotten. And then some goals I think I'll probably hit. And if I hit them, that's cool. And then some goals I probably won't hit, and that's also cool. I'll just know that I've made a positive change. So take that as an encouragement for your own goals, because it's actually fine not to hit your goals as long as when you get to the end of the year, you realize you become a better person and more of a person that you'd like to be. So that all begs the question, at least what are my new habits and changes? At least for my YouTube stuff, I'm going to try and do more of these vlogs, and I'm going to try and talk about things that you might be interested in that might help you in your creative journey. I'm going to post more music covers. I'm sorry I haven't posted any. I'll be doing more of those. And then in between that, I'll try a few more creative ideas. I might do some songwriting stuff, and I might do things like re-record some of the covers that I wasn't too happy with. But we'll see how it goes. But until then, I hope you have a great new year. Until next time, bye-bye.